Does anyone know the difference between desire, pleasure, and arousal? No, hold on. Did anyone ever think of the difference, or if there is a difference between those three words? Let's dive into it. We've all experienced desire. It's that whoosh sensation you feel when you see someone you are extremely attracted to and you just want to jump on them. Desire is a state that has a peak and then a drop. And it's really interesting because desire can sometimes be misleading. How often did you feel a huge attraction to someone and finally get to cozy up with them, only to find out that the sexual chemistry is not there? That is the peak and drop that I'm talking about. That is the whoosh sensation that arrived and also left. What about pleasure? Pleasure, in my opinion, and as studies have shown, is what we should be looking for in intimate and sexual experiences. Similar to desire, pleasure is a good feeling. However, it comes in waves. Yani, you could be snuggling on a sofa watching Netflix, wanting nothing more than to relax. And your significant other comes and sits next to you, then comes a little closer, maybe puts their hand on your thigh, then lays their head on your shoulder, maybe kisses your cheek, and then your neck. And then suddenly, your sexual accelerator turns on and you feel consensual arousal. And I'll get to why consensual arousal is important in a bit. But chilling and watching Netflix turns into a pleasurable sexual experience. And then there is arousal. Arousal is our genital response. Remember, we as human beings are wired for pleasure. Therefore, sometimes just because our body is responding sexually doesn't mean we want it. Therefore, it's not consensual arousal. خليني أفهم أكتر. Has anyone ever watched the movie Disclosure, where Michael Douglas in the film was sexually harassed by his ex, and he kept saying no, but his body was still responsive? If anyone has seen that movie, that's our body being wired for sexual pleasure. But our mental state is sometimes off, and therefore we don't want it. That's why it's important to listen to what your partner wants and know when to stop when you are asked to stop. Another example I can give is when two people are intimate and one of the two wants to go further because they feel that their partner is sexually ready. In other words, she could be wet or he could be erect, but the other partner says no. The partner, assuming that their partner is ready for more, would most likely try to push for more because they have that physical sign that this intimate moment could lead to something more. This is called arousal, but just because it's happening doesn't mean that the other partner wants more. See how it's different from desire? And what happens when someone pushes to have sex when the other person doesn't want it? Pleasure stops. And we enter into an alarm/red flag environment. And then suddenly, we don't feel so good and safe. So شو الخلاصة? In sex and intimacy, it's all about pleasure. As my professor Emily Nagoski, the author of Come As You Are, says, pleasure is the measure, which means it's about having sex worth having. Sex is effort. Remember, setting the right mood, looking fantastic, and being at your best takes effort. Sex is not effortless. Imagine doing that and the other person shows up, for example, sloppy. That could be a mood killer. Someone I know عملتها مرة. She wasn't in the mood to hang out with her partner, and instead of calling off the night, she showed up to an apartment filled with candles and a homemade meal, underdressed, with an out-of-bed look. And guess what? Her partner looked so disappointed. They ended up having an argument. هلا لحظة شوي. It's okay to show up underdressed. But it's also equally important to let your partner know that you're really not in the mood to begin with. And if you're not in the mood to really hang out, then simply don't. I think this kind of communication is really important. It's important for us, with the occasion of a laid-back attitude, to treat our special someone as a special someone. Otherwise, we quickly fall into habits that turn the relationship from super hot to super meh. And then we become inconsiderate to one another. And of course, just to be clear, there is more to reaching that place than just making effort. It's important to stay on top of your game, for you more than anything else. Because if I've learned anything, it's to show up for me first, and then them. I hope this was helpful. Thanks for hanging out, and see you next time.